Hello, I hope you're doing well today. Today I wanted to talk about quitting corporate culture. One of the reasons why I retired at the end of last year was because of course, there were many reasons, but one of them was the culture of, well, just the corporate culture in general. Even though I didn't work at a corporation, I worked at a large organization that had a lot of bureaucracy. And it was just no fun. And since I worked my previous employer for a couple of decades, I watched this bureaucracy just grow and multiply over time. I watched the red tape grow and expand over time. And it was just frustrating. And part of that probably was just the size of the organization was growing. And every year there were more rules, there were more policies, there were more regulations. And then, later on, leadership. We had a turnover in leadership several times, and the leaders that came in just seemed to really want to make their mark on the organization, make the organization do things that maybe were not in the best interest of the organization. Our department took on initiatives that looked good on resumes and helped get our leadership to the next rung of the corporate ladder, so to speak. But long term, and then they would go to their next gig higher up or somewhere else. They'd get promoted out of the department, or they'd leave the organization and go to their next higher gig where they made more money and had a longer title and probably a larger office and a larger budget and more direct reports. But what they left behind was, in many cases, just a mess. And for someone that, like myself, ended up working for quite a long time at one place, I had to live with the decisions and the ramifications of leadership that would just blow in for a few years and do some things that would look good and sound good on a resume and then blow out. And they gave lip service to doing what was in the best interest of the organization, but in reality, a lot of times it looked like what they did was just what promoted themselves and lifted themselves up and furthered their career. And in some cases, perhaps they also bettered the organization along the way. I don't know if that was a really intentional thing or just kind of a happy accident. But, and maybe just the nature of work today has just gotten really bad. And maybe it had something to do with the fact that I wasn't really enjoying my job and the organization I was working in. But I remember when I first started working, how enjoyable it was and how I really enjoyed my job and enjoyed the people I worked with, and I had confidence and felt like my supervisor and manager and the people in leadership really had my back and my best interests at heart. And for a long time, that was the case. But over the last 7 or 8 years, I felt like that just completely changed. And I was never quite trusting enough of my leadership to know if they really had my back or not, or if I could really trust them. And again, there was quite a bit of turnover, and it was just not good. And I know a lot of you experience the same sort of thing today. So my encouragement is, I hope you're able to quit the corporate culture someday, like I was able to. And, I don't know if that means for you being able to just grit it out, tough it out for another couple of years if you're close, or if that means looking for maybe a smaller organization that's more flat, less layers of management and bureaucracy and red tape. Or maybe consider working for yourself and being your own boss. I know that's not for everyone, but that could be one way to get out of this corporate work culture climate that seems to be pervasive today. Or, if you are close enough where you're almost ready to retire, well, man, kudos for you. I hope you're able to get out of that corporate culture. There's several people I know who work in corporate environments that really do not like it at all. And I know there's a lot of you out there in that same boat, and I feel for you. I'm sorry. I hope you're able to find your way to a little corner of organization where that's minimized, or as I said, look for smaller organizations, or work for yourself, or just be so close to retirement you can just gut it out for a little bit longer. So that's my encouragement for you, is don't lose hope. There are places you can work where that overly bearing down corporate culture doesn't exist, and I hope you're able to get there soon, or get to retirement or financial freedom where you don't have to experience that. But if you do, you're not alone. There's a lot of people out there in the same boat. So please take some solace in that, and I hope you find some encouragement from this, that you're not alone. Hang in there. Take care. If you enjoyed this message, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, so this message can get out to others that might need to hear it. Otherwise, we'll talk again real soon. You take care. Bye now.